Right guys, bad boy Jenvey here, aka Satan. Yep, I'm the devil, it's true. Might be a bit of shock to some people who are atheists. Turns out atheists, you were wrong. The devil is real and I'm the guy. I work for God though, so you don't need to be afraid of me. Someone's got to run hell. It's just how it is. You want to get to heaven, you got to be a good guy. Simple as that. Jesus told you. He was Christ. I'm the Antichrist. I'm here to tell you as well. So, yeah, your atheism, you can throw that in the bin now. That's a load of shit. Right, so let's establish that firstly. Second thing I need to tell you is I did some training just recently, boxing training, and my back is feeling a lot better now. I did 12 rounds training and I felt strong. So the offer's still there to all the hardest men or the hardest heavyweight boxers out there to come hit me on my chin and see if you can knock me out. But I might hit you back, although, well, we'll see. I might be knocking you out. That's how it is. I'm built for fighting. The guy that runs hell. I'm built for knocking people the fuck out. Yeah, so you take me on, but I'll be trying to hurt you. If you get into a boxing ring with me. If you're not in a boxing ring with me, you don't need to worry unless you attack me. If you attack me, then I'm going to defend myself, obviously. The only place you really need to fear me is in hell. That place is real. Next thing I need to talk about, Wisdomtree CRUD. You need to put your money into it. That Wisdomtree CRUD, that investment, links your money to the price of crude oil. Now, some of the monkey men, regular humans, all the reptilians know to have their money in Wisdomtree CRUD. But some of the monkey men might still be a bit nervous about it. Think of it this way. You've got one planet at the minute. Your whole economy runs on crude oil. Your whole economy. You've got one planet. And there's only so much oil in the ground. There's only so much beneath your feet in the ground when you've got one planet. There's more oil out there in the stars, in other solar systems, but you've only got one planet. So to conserve oil, they have to pump less out the ground. And when there's less oil above ground for the global economy, what happens to the price when there's a shortage? It goes up. They're using these wars in the Middle East and in Ukraine to explain the increase in price. Just look on a graph. Just look on a graph of Brent and WTI. They're the two like benchmark prices of crude oil that dictate the prices around the world. They're gradually pumping less out of the ground and eventually going to skyrocket oil prices, and that's when you're in trouble financially, monkey man. You need to listen to me. I'm telling you the truth. I'm the voice of truth in the sea of lies. Hard to believe, I know. I'm the devil, but I'm just telling you how it is. For all those budding guitarists out there, I'm going to put on screen now when the guitar lesson starts, guitar lesson 6. So I'm going to put that on screen now. The next thing to show you, more reptile footage. Some of the monkey men will still be disbelieving that they're surrounded by reptilian shapeshifters. You know, some of the regular humans on this planet won't realise, even though I've shown you again and again, that reptiles are real. Reptilians, they're real. They exist. They have scales, but they've got like a camouflage. This almost like a chameleon, but more sophisticated, better basically, that makes them look like a monkey man when they're actually a reptilian. Separate species to you. So we're going to look at some reptile footage now. The first reptile we're going to look at is Boris Johnson, famous British politician. We're going to look at reptile. He is a reptilian. So we're going to look at the video now. The video on YouTube is the former Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson offers tea instead of answers, BBC News. The channel is the BBC News. We've gone to 0.19. I'm going to just look at his neck, behaving quite strangely. Just focus on it. And around here. So that movement in his neck, if you saw that. Let's go back to 19. Hang on, there we go. It's here. See that? And then here. Do we see it? See all that movement there? It's that movement. It's just here. Just here. We'll look at it one more time. In this area now. See it all changing. They've got scales. They're reptiles. They're lizards. And it's just this camouflage. But he's under a little bit of pressure there because he's got, in that video, he's got a load of journalists wanting to ask him questions. And he doesn't really want to talk to them. And he's just trying to offer them a cup of tea to try and be a bit funny and, I don't know, just be a bit of a character that he is. But I think he's under a little bit of pressure. And so the shapeshift's slipping a little bit. We're going to have another one of Boris Johnson now. We're going to see how his eye changes to like a slit, like a reptile eye. There's going to be in one video we've got one eye changing to a reptile eye, and the other one staying normal, and then it switches to the other. His other eye goes reptile, and the other one changes. That often happens with the reptilians. The disguise slips, and you see a reptile eye slit just momentarily. So we're going to do it now. The video is Boris Johnson interview and lap Top Gear. It's the Top Gear channel on YouTube. We're at 148 in the video. Obviously, slow-mo. You do need the slow-mo. We're going to be looking at this eye very closely in a second. So we'll play it. He looks up to the camera. Well, sorry, he looks up to Jeremy Clarkson. Now, this is the eye we're checking for. You see it's a slit. If you look closely, you can see it's changed to a slit. Play it a little bit longer. It's a slit eye. Okay. He's under pressure a little bit. He's doing an interview. I think he actually did really well in that lap. I think he put down a good time. But he's under pressure in an interview. Often happens. We're going to look a bit further on and we see his other eye go reptilian. This next clip is a bit tricky to see. Boris Johnson again. We're going to look at his eye and we have to pause it continually to try and catch it. So we're looking at this eye. It's already looking odd. You see how it's looking odd there. We're at 235 in the video. 235. You've got to this one. You've got to pause continually. Click pause. In addition to having the slow-mo on. But yeah, his eye's looking a bit odd there. Compared to his other one's looking alright. And then it changes back, it's fine. Keep watching it. It's fine at the minute. And then it goes weird again. You see it's gone weird again. See how it's weird. See its shape's changed. You see that? It looks really bizarre. See there, we're at 237 there, just pausing it continually. And then it changes back, fine. Your brain, as a monkey man, reptilians aren't any smarter than you, by the way, but as a monkey man, your brain isn't fast enough to see this. You have to look at it on slow-mo, and there I was actually having to pause again and again. Try and capture it. So you can't, I mean, I can't walk around the streets. I can see reptilians because they've got reptilian features, like a ridge there. They often have like ridges, like a ridge just there. You know, you see like lines there. You can often spot them. But to actually see a shapeshift malfunctioning, it's really difficult. And you'd have to have a faster brain than me. And I'm the devil, so I'm pretty smart. So you're going to struggle with that one. So it's hard to spot. They've got very good camouflage. The next reptile footage we're going to look at is of Jerome Powell. Now you might say, who's Jerome Powell? Well, he is the boss of the Federal Reserve. That's the US state bank that's supposed to basically be the head of the financial system, the global financial system, and the head of the US dollar, right? So that's who he is. There he is. He's an older guy, Jerome Powell, his name is. Fed chair. That's his job title, Fed chair. It just means boss of the Federal Reserve Bank, the US bank, the bank that controls the US dollar. The video we're looking at, he's reptilian, obviously. The video we're looking at, Fed chair, Jerome Powell, the 2024 60 Minutes interview. The channel is 60 Minutes, and obviously we've put it in slow-mo. We're at 7:35 in the video, and we're going to look here at his head. This is often a giveaway with the reptiles. They often have a ridge there. You can see he's got these ridges here. He's got an odd shape there a little bit. Those are usually a giveaway. Big thick ridge lines, but ridge lines here are often common to spot them. We'll play it anyway. So like I say, 735. Just watch this shape here in his forehead. It's quite prominent. You can see it's almost like a big massive triangle. Right, now what we're looking at now, so it's 737 now. What we're looking at now is, if you actually look closely at his forehead, you will see triangular shapes. Can you see this? Triangles. Can you see them? There's one there. There's like triangular shapes in his head. Triangles, triangles, triangles. The reason he's got triangles in his forehead is because they're scales and they're beginning to show through. It's just how it is. You will see it. You might not catch it on this video, but if you go look at this video, the Fed Jerome Powell 60 Minutes interview 2024, 737, you will see quite clearly these triangles on his head. And this guy's supposedly, I guess, the boss of the financial system. That's what the reptilians want you to think. He's not really. The boss is actually King Charles, the British royal family, advised by the German royals and the Pope in Rome. Although I think they're mostly just... I think King Charles at the moment's mostly just listening to himself. I don't think he's really interested in listening to the Pope, to me, to the German royals, or anyone else. So it's probably why God's given him cancer at the minute. But anyway, yeah, Jerome Powell. Oh yeah, another thing I was going to show you. I was going to show you the interviewer as well as reptilian. So in this interview, it's just a bonus reptile. He's not a famous guy, but the interviews are reptilian as well. The interviewer of this Jerome Powell's just there. We're at 8:25 in the video. We look at these reptile ridges here, and we just see it's clear that he's a reptilian. In a minute, I'll play the video. See, there's a shape forming up here a little bit. Play it again. Right, now what we're looking is this big bulge, almost like a bulbous sort of shape between his eyes. See how big that is, and then there's this curved shape on the top of his head. It's quite pronounced. I mean, look how pronounced that is. There's this weird shape. See it? See how big that is. And I think it begins to dissipate in a minute. There, okay. Back to Jerome Powell. Yeah, big bulbous shape there, and then this curved shape up there. Odd, very odd, but it's a reptilian shapeshift malfunctioning because he's interviewing, so he's feeling the pressure. So that's your reptile footage, just to prove to you these reptilians are 100% real. So you might be thinking, well, why did I show you a politician and a banker? Well, a state banker. Well, because your politics is nonsense, right? Your politicians, all the reptiles know they're nonsense. They're just there to make the regular humans think you have a vote. They don't want you to understand how society really works. It's run by reptilians, and the boss, the lizard king, is actually King Charles. He's the boss of the reptiles, and they pretty much follow him. He's like a dictator in a way. They just follow him very devotedly because he's the king. Whoever's the king of the reptiles is the boss of the world. It's King Charles. Obviously just born into the position, he didn't earn it. And that's just how it works, because the British Empire conquered the world. The British Empire, you've probably heard, the British Empire was the largest empire the world's ever known. Well, it didn't just, what the reptilians wanted you to think is the whole thing just, I don't know, they just gave it all back or something. No. The British Empire runs the world, advised by the Roman Empire, which is now the Catholic Church. But it's supposed to be a Roman emperor that's boss. And who's the Roman emperor? You're looking at him. But King Charles doesn't want to give up his power. And that's why God in heaven's pretty pissed off with him. He's pissed off with, with the whole royal, not the whole royal family, but the people he's I think going to be sending to an early grave is King Charles. He's got cancer at the minute, pancreatic cancer. He's saying it's undisclosed now, whereas a short while ago it was pancreatic. Kate Middleton's very ill at the minute with cancer. I'm going to show you some pictures in a minute of Prince William not looking very healthy at the moment. Last night it was actually an Aston Villa football match. He's a big supporter of Aston Villa Football Club, and he was there at the game. They actually lost 4-2, but he didn't look very well, like in terms of his health, in my view. It could well be that God in heaven, because he wants his son Satan. I'm God's other son. He was Jesus. He was God's son. He's like your love and peace man. I'm the man of logic that runs hell. You have to have a hell because some people don't deserve to go to heaven. And God in heaven is annoyed that the King Charles, the British royals, aren't working with me. I'm not sure about Camilla. I'm not sure what her health's like at the minute, because she's the queen. She's the queen of the world. But it's to try and show you that your financial system, right? I was showing you like Jerome Powell and Boris Johnson to try and show you that both your financial system, that's kind of just rigged, right? A lot of that's rigged. But you need a financial system, obviously. You need a way of exchanging goods and services. So you obviously need a financial system. And your politics, it's a load of nonsense. It's just, well, it gives you some freedom. It gives you some freedom, and you can vote for different things. two different political parties will have slightly differing policies. So it gives you some, it does actually give you some freedom. But the real boss is the head of the British royal family. And, well, it used to be the Roman emperor. You know, and the Roman emperor is supposed to be me, but it's currently the Pope. That's supposed to be the real bosses. Because the Germanic families, right, like the British royal family is a Germanic family. British royal family is actually, you know, originally from Germany, you know, in terms of their genetics. And they were conquered by the Romans. Why? Because the Romans are the hardest bastards who ever lived. The hardest bastards who ever walked the face of this earth. That's just the truth. And but they didn't really like doing sailing. And to conquer the world, you had to do sailing. I mean, I get terrible motion sickness. If I go on a boat, the water's a bit choppy, I get very sick. The Romans were hard on the land. They were hard men with two feet on the ground. So they got these Germanic tribes to do the the conquering of the world for them, and that's why King Charles is the boss of the world. And guys like Jerome Powell and Boris Johnson and people, they just work for him. You know, he's the one who runs the show. And but the Roman Emperor, me, Satan, is here now to take the reins, but he doesn't want to give me the reins, which is very annoying. And we'll have a look at Prince William at the minute. Have a look at it, and we'll also have a look at Kate Middleton, because it's been hidden from you. It's been hidden from regular humans how ill she actually is at the minute. So what I'm going to show you now is William looking healthy and normal, right? So that's him. Looks good, you know, pretty handsome guy, looks healthy and strong. Right, now, Aston Villa played football last night. It's the 3rd of May, so they played yesterday, 2nd of May. They lost their game, and Prince William was there in attendance. But in my view, he doesn't look that great. He's got this weird lump. He looks a bit red. Now, he has got something called rosacea, which makes his skin turn a bit red sometimes. But that normally just gives you rosy cheeks. He just doesn't look, to me, that healthy compared to that picture, you know, pictures like that. You see there, he looks good. Here with his wife, you know, he looks good. Yet you compare it to last night, you know, he's got a lump there. It just doesn't look as healthy, do you know what I mean? In my view. It's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. I wouldn't be surprised if he's quite ill at the moment. Now, I'm going to show some pictures of Kate Middleton. She really looks unwell. We haven't heard anything, have we, about her cancer treatment? And I'm not sure things are going that good for her. So we're going to have a look at Kate Middleton and how she's not looking that healthy at the moment. The video, we're on YouTube now. We're on YouTube. The video we're on is William revealed a glimpse inside Catherine's cancer treatment at Candy Pink Adelaide Cottage. The channel is Catherine, Princess of Wales. Now, in some of this footage, it's a bit sad, but one of the end images is over there. She's wearing this because obviously she's on chemo treatment. But if you actually look here, she looks really quite skinny, like she's lost a lot of weight. The bones are like poking through a little bit, if you see there. And she just looks, it's a bit sunken there as well. She just looks like she's lost a lot of weight. So that's what happens. You get cancer, you begin to, you know, waste away. But we've been kept in the dark about it because the British royals don't want, well, they're reptilians anyway, so they're very secretive anyway. Reptilians in general are very stealth ninja. That's the term I like to use. A stealth ninja. They're always like being secretive, and it annoys me actually half the time, but whatever. That's how they are. But the British royals don't want you to know that they're getting walloped. By who? By the big man. God in heaven is hitting them with cancer. Because because they haven't been willing to work with me. I mean, I want to give you free energy. I want to give you anti-gravity. I want to work with you to get into the stars. They haven't been willing to work with me. And so because of that, God's annoyed. He wants humanity to get new planets now. You've overpopulated this planet, and it's time to start getting new ones. It'll raise everyone's living standards. You have got to fight for them Earths. Don't forget that. You won't just get them for free. You got to fight for them. Take those Earths from aliens who currently live there, you know. But it's just how it is. And the royals are at the moment standing in the way. Although God in heaven is very hopeful that Harry is willing to work with me, so let's hope he is. But yeah, it's very sad. That is a sad picture. To be fair, it is. So you know, obviously, Kate Windsor, Kate Middleton was a very, very attractive woman. So it is sad to see. Anyway, what's it time for now? It's time for my 6th guitar lesson. Guitar lesson number 6. Let's go. Guitar lesson 6. What we're going to talk about buying options. I'm going to talk about buying options. Now, in an electric guitar, you've got a few big brands like Fender, Gibson, companies like that, right? And they will make cheap versions of their signature guitars. So I've got from Fender, the Fender Squier, which is just a cheap version of the Fender Stratocaster. Now there's a big price difference. That was 150 quid, right? Off Amazon. It's a good guitar, really good guitar, I think. But if I want a proper Fender Stratocaster, it's looking like £600 upwards. I mean, that's a base model, £600 to £800, and it's up from there. And it's the same with Gibson. With Gibson, you've got Epiphone, which is their copies, their cheap copies. Now, what's the difference between the two? What's the difference between a proper Fender Stratocaster and like a Squier like that? Well, I think the main difference is the pickups. The pickups are better. You're going to get better pickups, like the actual pickups there. Whether it's worth paying all that extra money for is up to you. You know, have you got a lot of disposable income? Are you quite a wealthy person? Or do you just want a cheap guitar? You can get a very good sound out of a Fender Squier. And I'm assuming, I've never played one, but I'm assuming the same case with the Epiphone. It's like the copy of the Gibsons. So, you know, and the other thing I was going to say, I mean, I don't know if this is possible, but maybe you could get a Fender Squier and then buy some better pickups for it separately and have a guitar technician put the better pickups into it, and then it might give you, a better sound you've already got. But I get a decent sound out the Squier. So it's up to you whether you want to lay out that extra money. You know, Fender and Gibson, it's like the Ferrari and Lamborghini of electric guitars. You want to pay for that. You know, a lot of it you're paying for the prestige name, the Prestige brand. Now, I've got this bass guitar here. Now, this is a small manufacturer. Well, it's it's not like a Prestige brand like a Fender. East Coast Guitars. And at the moment, what they're doing, like you get other little brands like that, but at the moment, what they're doing is they'll make you a guitar that's maybe like a bit cheaper than a Squire. It might be like actually a bit cheaper, like 20 quid cheaper or something. But really, I'd say to those kind of manufacturers that haven't got the prestige of Fender and Gibson, what they really need to do is make new designs. Everyone goes in and makes the designs of Fender and Gibson, like they just copy that. So you get like East Coast Guitars, who will copy that kind of design, make the guitar look like that, like a Stratocaster. Or they'll make it look like a Les Paul, a Gibson Les Paul, or a Gibson SG or something like that, yeah? So they'll just copy the designs of the prestige brands. And what they should be trying to do is differentiate themselves by making totally different designs. Something I really liked, a guitarist I really respect, was Prince. And he would have guitars that no one else had, totally unique to him. And he's a very unique artist. And that's what the guitar needs. It needs the smaller brands instead of just copying the prestige brands, because those designs by Fender and Gibson, they've been around since the 50s and 60s. I think since the 1950s. They've been around a long time. So I see it as it's up to the new kids on the block, companies like East Coast Guitars. It's up to them to just come up with something totally different, to be different, basically. And then that obviously would give the guitarists the option to try and look a bit unique on stage, a bit different. You know what I mean? If there's lots of small brands making different designs from each other, instead of just trying to copy Fender and Gibson, then it allows you as a guitarist to look a bit more unique on stage. The thing I think I'd like to compare it to is the car industry. So with the car industry, they're always coming up with new designs. Ferrari's always coming out with a new Ferrari that looks different from previous ones. It might be the same colour, it might be red, but it does look different. And that's what needs to happen with guitars. Now, Fender and Gibson might say, well, we're just sticking with our designs that we've got. We've got the prestige of being Fender and Gibson. And fair enough. But like I say, it's up to these new companies like East Coast and other companies like that come up with totally different designs. That's what I feel anyway. Because like I say, at the minute, someone like East Coast Guitars, they're just trying to beat Fender on price. They'll just sell you an East Coast guitar, you maybe 20 quid cheaper. I just think that's a stupid way to do it. They just need to come up with something unique. You know what I mean? That's what they need to do, in my opinion. Now, something you might have noticed in my lessons 1 and 2, I didn't give you like much terminology with guitars. Why? Because I don't know any terminology. I know how to play a guitar, but I don't know like how to read music. I don't know much terminology, all the technical terms with music. I don't bother with it. I just play by ear. If it sounds good, to me, it is good. If you know what I mean. That's how I play guitar. And that's how Jimi Hendrix played guitar. I don't think he could read music. So a lot of the greatest guitarists, they just play by ear. But there's some guys, say you're someone who gets into guitar, and then you might be someone who really does want to learn all the terminology. And you might want to, learn how to read music. A good example of a guitarist, a great guitarist that was like that, was Randy Rhoads. He worked with Ozzy Osbourne, and he was very much into classical guitar. And as it was, I've read that he was actually going to leave working with Ozzy Osbourne to become a full classical guitarist. So, you know, everyone's different. Whereas me, I don't think I'm ever going to be interested. I'm not interested in the terminology. To me, if it sounds good, it is good. That's it. That's what I'm interested in. So that's why I haven't given you. I think as well, a lot of that early on can overcomplicate it for you. Like, say, like someone like Randy Rhoads, he's like a virtuoso guitarist who's then wanted, you know, to learn more and more and more about it, learn all the terminology, learn how to read music, become a classical guitarist full time, I think. You know, but when you're starting out, you just need the basic building blocks of how to be good, how to do lead guitar, how to do rhythm guitar. And that's all you need. So that's what I've given you in lessons 1 and 2. So yeah, if you want to learn the terminology, it's up to you to go find out about that. I've just given you the basics on how to be a good guitarist. So that's something you need to be aware of. Something else I want to say to the guitar industry is companies like Fender and Gibson, and maybe eventually smaller manufacturers like East Coast, what they need to do is their expensive guitars, like their proper Stratocaster, Les Paul, guitars like that, they need to be able to be custom built for the player if they want that. So they need to be able to go on the Fender or Gibson website and be able to build their guitar exactly to how they want it in terms of colour, what pickups they're going to have, if they're going to have a whammy bar on it or not, things like that. You know, what wood the fretboard's made out of, you know, and you know, you can have lots of customizable options, because with every other premium brand, like say if you want to buy a Rolls Royce, you can have it customizable to exactly what you want. If you're buying it brand new from Rolls Royce, you can have it you know, you've got loads of options to have it built exactly how you want it built. And that we need that in guitar. We need that in the guitar industry. So Fender and Gibson and other big manufacturers of guitars, Gretsch is another one. There's other guitar companies that are big, need to do that. And eventually, I think the smaller ones might want to do it eventually. Smaller companies might want to go down that road. So that's another great idea for the guitar industry that I think needs to happen. Now, something else that could happen is guitar shops could change. So I went into a guitar shop in Birmingham. It was a really good guitar shop called Guitar. It was in Birmingham, and they sold me the that East Coast bass guitar that I just recently bought. And on the walls in that shop, they had loads of guitars, thousands of pounds, thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds in terms of stock. Guitars on the wall. It's really impressive. But the thing is, as a retailer, that's quite, well, it's a very expensive thing to have to do as a retailer. You know, have all that stock and maybe only selling one expensive guitar a day. You know, I mean, these guitars, I saw one that was worth $8,000 on the wall. So I was thinking of it. If Fender and Gibson go down the road of where you can build, you know, customizable guitars, you have it, you put in what you want, and then it gets shipped out to you a couple of weeks later. Well, what you could have instead, with say like a guitar shop, you go into an actual guitar shop and you want to buy a Les Paul. What you'll do is you'll sit down at a terminal with a guitar technician in the shop and build up your guitar with him. You know what I mean? That's a way of doing it. And then the guitar then gets shipped to the shop, and then you just pick it up from the shop. And you check it over before you walk out the shop with it. Make sure it's all okay, because you're paying a lot. I mean, some of these guitars, they cost, like I say, a lot of money. There's a guitar in there, and guitar in Birmingham. There's $8,000. Crazy. Well, it's a huge amount of money. It was a nice guitar. It was a Gibson Les Paul. So, you know, that might be a way of meaning that a guitar shop as a business doesn't have to have as many guitars in stock. Right, so what they could do instead, you say, well, what are they going to have on the walls instead? What are they going to have on the walls of the shop, of this big shop? If they've got hardly any guitars in there, they maybe got a few stock guitars. They'll have a few cheap guitars to buy, like the Fender Squier. Yeah, a few of those in stock. They're really cheap. But what do they have on the walls instead? If they ain't got all these, guitars that are worth thousands of pounds. Well, what they could have instead is posters of rock and roll stars and information about rock and roll stars, and they could maybe have one expensive Les Paul guitar and then all information about it below it. All like some posters of big rock stars with information next to them. I was thinking that could be a really good idea. They could even somewhere like Guitar, it's actually a chain of shops. So the Birmingham one that I went to could have all posters of Birmingham bands, like Black Sabbath, for example, could have all information on them. Ocean Colour Scene, that was another great band from Birmingham that I really liked. Judas Priest, another good one from Birmingham. They have information on Birmingham bands, and then obviously information on other bands from outside Birmingham as well. But like the focus on Birmingham bands, it's like a rock exhibit. And it could actually be free to enter, because it doesn't cost the shop anything for a guy, just a random guy, to walk in who's into rock and roll. He can't play guitar. He's not interested in, he doesn't know how to play guitar. He doesn't want to learn. He just likes listening to rock and roll. He can walk into the shop, enjoy all these rock exhibits, and then in the shop, there's like a coffee shop area, like a little selling them, coffees and teas and little cakes and things like that. Maybe sweets for the kids and fizzy pop for the kids. And that could be a way of generating money through the coffee shop. So you've got this rock exhibit. Yeah, it's a guitar shop as well. It's got guitar terminals where with a guitar technician you build up your own personalised, expensive Fender or Gibson or whatever else. Or you can, if you want, just buy a cheap stock guitar that they keep out the back, like a Fender Squier, or an Epiphone or something like that. But what they could then, these guitar shops become rock exhibits, rock and roll exhibits then. And they could make quite a lot of money through the sales of coffee and tea and little cakes and things like that, and biscuits and stuff. Because, someone like Starbucks and Costa Coffee, those big coffee chains, make a lot of money. And I reckon there's a lot of people who like rock and roll music, and I reckon there'll be quite a lot of people interested to go walk around a rock exhibit with all posters and information, on rock and roll stars that they might not have known, and they might discover a couple of new bands they didn't know much about, and you know what I mean? It could be real good money earner for a guitar shop, because at the moment guitar shops are only really catering to guitarists, whereas I think they need less guitars on the wall. You build up your guitar on the computer terminal, build up the guitar that you want on that, and it's more of an information thing with learning about rock and roll and seeing some cool posters. You know what I mean? That's my idea for guitar shops and the guitar industry in general. So I'm trying to teach you how to play guitar, but I'm also trying to help the guitar industry sort of become stronger. I think the idea of some of the smaller companies like East Coast coming up with different designs is a good idea. That might make the industry stronger as a whole, potentially, rather than just copying Fender and Gibson. And I think those are good ideas for a guitar shop as well. And it's a great idea for Fender and Gibson. I want to pay all that money. If I want to pay all that money for a Fender or a Gibson guitar, have that prestige brand, I want to be able to personalise it. I want to have it, almost like building a unique guitar just for me. It's one off. You know what I mean? And I think all these ideas will help that industry a lot. And obviously I'm trying to help the young guitarists get good, give them the fast track. I was just giving you the fast track on how to get good on guitar. It's up to you to explore it and try to learn more if you want to. Anyway, that's the end of the lesson. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.